I'm back! Hi friends, welcome back to Sarah's Next Chapter. My name is Sarah and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you what I read on my holiday. So grab a drink and let's get into it. I actually don't have a drink, so I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I've not even had breakfast yet. It's so early when I'm filming this. I was just up early today and I thought I want to get this video filmed for you because I've not uploaded in 3 weeks when this goes up. Probably it'll be 3 weeks. And I was doing so well at uploading every week. But I was on holiday, life was busy, whatever. I'm not going to give myself a hard time about it. But I just really wanted to get this video filmed for y'all. So yeah, I just thought I would go through the books that I read on holiday, including one book that I'm currently reading just now. And we'll have a chat about it. So I went to Greece on my official honeymoon. Just got back about a week ago. It was absolutely amazing. It was so good. I will insert some photos. It was so hot when we got there. The first full day we were there, it was 38 degrees. It was amazing. We stayed in this little sort of fishing village called Stegna, which is about 50 minutes drive from Rhodes. So we did go into Rhodes City for a day. We saw some of the temples and the old town of Rhodes. But most of the time we stayed in Stegna. We had this beautiful little apartment right on the water. The village was so cute. It was just perfect. So I had actually thought I'd get more reading done than I ended up. And I think that's because I fell into a little tiny baby reading slump sort of midway through the holiday, which was unfortunate. Anyway, let's just get into it, shall we? So the first book I read was Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So this is set in the 80s, I believe, and it is about two women who work at NASA and they end up falling in love with each other. So it is a queer love story set in NASA. At NASA? In NASA. I really, really enjoyed this. This is my third Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I've read. So I've also read, of course, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I've read Malibu Rising, which I really enjoyed. And I've heard a lot of chat about Atmosphere on like the bookish communities online, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. I thought I'll read it while I had like a 4 hour something flight to Greece, and I thought that would be perfect. I'll read Atmosphere because I'll literally be up in the sky. So peak immersive reading, and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really great epic love story, really interesting backdrop of the science and everything. The woman worked at NASA. It's set in the 80s when women were only just sort of being accepted into NASA finally in America. So the idea of these women being queer and being in a queer relationship with each other, they just felt like they couldn't make that public because would it be accepted and what would that mean for like other women who wanted to work at NASA? It's just like a minefield of things when like you're already a minority being a woman there. So do you want to further sort of put yourself into the minority by being also a queer woman? Is it a supportive space? You know, it is a minefield, I guess. So the characters in this book, Joan and Vanessa, were having to navigate that, and it was really beautiful. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I loved the aspect of, you know, the writing that was about NASA, that was about being in the atmosphere, that was about the stars and the planets and all those different things. I found that really, really fascinating. I really enjoyed it. I will say my one grievance with it was I did sometimes feel that the dialogue between Joan and Vanessa was a bit too grandiose and a bit too poetic for my not for my liking actually. I would love it if people spoke like that. I just don't think they do. And I think when you're setting a book in, okay, maybe the 80s isn't isn't as modern as I think it is anymore, but you know what I mean, like it's not a it's not a medieval setting, it's not a classical setting, it's not a fantasy setting, it's modern day, you know, real life sort of setting. when I don't buy some of the dialogue, it really takes me out of it. And I have come to the realization that I do think that this is partly a me problem. Being an actor, like, you get so hung up on dialogue and the way people say things, and if that character would say that thing in that way, and we get so caught up in the nitty gritty of dialogue. So dialogue is a real big make or break for me in films and books and any sort of form of entertainment. If I'm not buying the dialogue, it really pulls me out of the story. And it did a couple of times in this book. I was just like, I just don't think people speak like that. Maybe they do. Maybe I'm missing out. But I don't know. I just wasn't convinced with it, with some of the dialogue between Joan and Vanessa. It felt a bit much for me. Obviously, I will also take into account Taylor Jenkins Reid is American, and I know that the way Americans speak is very different from the way British people and Scottish people in particular speak. So maybe that was what I was finding difficult with it. It was just like a clash there of like a cultural thing maybe. But yeah, some of the dialogue I just wasn't quite buying it. But it really didn't detract from my enjoyment that much. I think I ended up giving this a 4 stars, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The last couple of chapters, my heart was in my mouth. Like, I was so tense. It was so exciting. It felt like watching a movie, and I really like when books can do that. Like, you're so immersed in it. It feels like it's unfolding right now, and you're so invested in what's going to happen. It was really good. I would highly recommend reading it. So let's move on to my reread for the holiday. So I reread The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. So I first read this in 2022 after reading Circe, and I was really excited to reread this because I remember it being so beautiful and poetic. But it's okay for it to be like that because it's a classical setting, it's a heightened text, so it's fine for the words to all seem very lyrical and poetic. I can get on board with that in this context. And it is, I mean, it's so beautiful. It's, as I said, so lyrical, so poetic. It is, of course, the love story between Achilles and his friend Patroclus set during the Trojan War. It's very tragic. It really pulls on your heartstrings. I enjoyed my reread with the knowledge that I have of Greek mythology now, because when I read this, I had only read Circe and then I went straight into reading this, and I didn't know really much about the world of Greek mythology at all. So now that I've read so much more in that genre, going back and reading this was really like fulfilling because I was able to like pick up things and link things to other stories, and I was able to recognise characters, and yeah, I enjoyed that part of it. It didn't hit me as hard emotionally. I think it's just one of those things that you'll never quite get the same reaction as you did the first time you read it. It's just one of those ones that you kind of wish you could wipe your memory clean and read it again. But I did really enjoy it, and I'm definitely glad that I reread. So this is where the reading slump really hit, because I'd read 2 really heartbreaking queer love stories, one after the other, and I just didn't know where to go from there. So downloaded a couple of things in my Kobo, never really got into them. And then I decided to read Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. I think it's McConaughey, like Matthew McConaughey. I'm going to go with that. I'll put a picture up, so sorry if I've got that wrong. I was so undecided in how I felt about this book. So the premise is basically this family are living on this little island off the coast of Australia, and it's like I was going to say a research facility, but it's not. It's like a seed bank. So they're like guarding all these seeds in this facility so that the seeds can be replanted when the world goes to shit, was my understanding. I could be wrong with that. Yeah, it's like this research facility. This family are basically guardians of it. So it's a dad and his 3 kids. He lost his wife 8 years ago, and then he took on this project to basically get away from everything and just be there with his kids. And obviously there's like scientists and researchers there and stuff as well initially. Right at the start of this book, this woman is washed up on shore and she's in a really bad way. The family have to care for her, and then they realise that she's actually looking for her husband that should be on the island but doesn't appear to be. So there's like mysterious circumstances surrounding him, but we know like she's not really telling us everything as well. So there's a bit of like, you don't know who to trust in this book. It's a bit of a thriller. I just don't know how I felt about it. I'm still trying to understand how I feel about it. I think, again, what I struggled with was the dialogue. The characters were really blunt with each other a lot of the time, especially initially. Obviously, they don't know each other. This woman's just washed up. They don't know who she is. She doesn't know who they are. They don't really trust each other, so you can kind of get that. But there were certain ways this woman was speaking. Her name's Rowan, by the way, the woman. Rowan or Rowan. We'll call her Rowan. Certain things, the way she was speaking to some of the children, specifically the youngest child, I was just like, why are you speaking like that? Like, I didn't really get it. And also a lot of the decisions she was making, I was just like, that was a bad decision. So I wouldn't say I found her particularly likeable. I did find the kids very likeable. So there's 3 children. Well, I say children, I actually think Raph is meant to be like 20 maybe, or 18, 19 maybe. Fen, I think, is 17, going on 18, and Orly, I think, is 10. I did really like their characters. And the end of the book was really exciting, and I wanted something different to happen at the end than what actually happened. But I just don't know how I feel about it. I genuinely don't know how I feel about it. I can't unpick it. I think I gave it 3.25 stars. It wasn't a bad book. I just can't quite digest my feelings about it. And I think I was looking for something a bit different. I actually think I was looking for something a bit darker and a bit more like maybe gothic. I don't know. I wasn't really looking for a thriller, but it very much was like thrillery vibes, twists and turns and all that. Yeah. If you like thrillers, I think you will like this book. So, yeah. And now we are on to my current read. So I'm currently reading a book called Wranglestone by Darren Charlton. I picked this up in the, like Tesco or like some supermarkets do little charity libraries where you just put £1 in, like a donation, and you can take a book. So I saw this at my local Tesco, and I honestly just really loved the cover. I love the colours on it. I just thought it looked really interesting. And then I read this tagline at the top, and it says, part zombie epic, part gay love story. And I was like, okay, well, I'm sold. Gay love story and zombies. Sign me up. And I am on page 275. I think there's only 360 something pages in it. So I'm really far through it, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Really easy to read. I really like zombie films and like TV shows. Like, I love The Walking Dead. So obsessed with that. But I've never read a zombie book. I think I tried to read World War Z and just couldn't get into it. So I don't know, this has been a really good gateway for me into like zombie books, and I think I would like to read more. I find the themes of like survival really interesting when it comes to zombies, like just how people change in a sort of post-apocalyptic world, who thrives, who struggles, the decisions you have to make. I just find all that really, really interesting. So I'm really enjoying this book. Obviously, I can't give it a rating just yet. We'll see. I think this is actually duology. I think there's another one after this, which I will probably look into. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. So those are 4 books that I have been reading recently. Please let me know what you think of them. If you've read them or if you're interested in reading them after hearing me talk about them, let me know. We will be resuming the regularly scheduled content on this channel. So my aim, as I've been doing for the past few months, is to get up 1 video a week. Please let me know what you want to see. You can leave me a wee comment below. And I think that's everything I have to say. I feel like I've talked for ages. Maybe I haven't. I don't know how long I've been recording, but I feel like I've spoke for a long time. So I'm going to go. But yeah, have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.